You know that feeling, right? You've put in a full day, you feel completely drained, but when you look at what you actually finished, it's just not much. It's a super frustrating cycle. The reason you feel so exhausted despite that low output, it isn't a lack of energy. It's actually a structural leak in your cognitive pipeline. But what if you could fix that leak? Well, in this explainer, we're going to do just that. We'll show you the 3-step system to master throughput psychology and produce more meaningful work while actually doing less. It sounds impossible, but stick with me. We're about to upgrade your entire system.
All right, here's our game plan. We'll start by understanding the cognitive pipeline paradox. Then, we'll diagnose something called WIP Drag. After that, we'll install the 3-phase protocol, look at the science behind why it works, and finally, set you up with your new operating system.
Okay, first things first. Let's tackle this core mystery of modern work. Why does grinding harder so often feel like you're just spinning your wheels in the mud? This is the cognitive pipeline paradox, and once you see it, you can't unsee it.
So let's just ask the big question right out of the gate. Why does more effort so often lead to less output? I mean, it goes against everything we've ever been taught. You put more gas in the tank, the car goes farther. Simple. But here's the thing. Your brain is not a simple engine. It's a complex system, and when you overload it, it doesn't just speed up, it grinds to a halt.
And this is the heart of the problem. Think of your workflow like a pipeline. Your energy, your effort, that's the water going in one end. And finished tasks, well, that's what's supposed to come out the other. The problem isn't that you're not putting enough water in. The problem is your pipeline is riddled with leaks. Your mental energy is just seeping out all over the place before it can ever become a finished product. So this brings us to a totally new way of thinking. Throughput psychology. It's a huge shift. We stop measuring productivity by how busy we are, and we start measuring it by throughput. That is, the number of finished units that exit the system. It's not about how many things you start. It's about one thing and one thing only, what you complete.
Okay, so where are all these leaks? Let's get into the diagnostic phase. We're going to pinpoint the single biggest drain on your mental energy, this invisible force called work-in-progress drag.
It all starts so innocently, doesn't it? It's Monday morning, you're feeling ambitious, so you open up that big report you need to write, then you start firing off a few emails. Oh, and you open another tab to research that other project, and you jot down some notes for this afternoon's meeting. Without realizing it, you've just kicked off a complete disaster.
See, every single time your brain jumps from one of those unfinished things to another, you pay a price. It's called the task switching penalty. Think of it like a hidden cognitive tax. You lose time and precious mental energy as your brain has to shut down one context, load up a completely new one, and then try to refocus. It feels like just a second, but those seconds add up into minutes, and those minutes turn into hours of wasted energy over a week.
And the end result? A total system logjam. Seriously, picture a massive traffic jam. Every car's engine is running, burning fuel, creating exhaust, but nobody is going anywhere. That is exactly what is happening inside your head. Your brain is burning through its limited daily energy just trying to manage all these open tabs, but nothing is actually moving forward. Nothing is getting done. So, let's put a name on our enemy, work-in-progress drag. It's that invisible weight, that constant low-level hum of anxiety in the back of your mind that comes from having too many things started but not finished. It is the single biggest reason you can work for 8 hours straight and feel like you got absolutely nothing done. Let's break down exactly what this is costing you. First, your working memory. Think of it as your brain's RAM. It gets totally saturated. It's full. Second, you suffer from attention residue. You know, when thoughts about that report you were just looking at are still lingering and messing with your focus on the email you're trying to write now. All of this creates massive cognitive friction, making every little thing feel harder than it should. And the result? You're exhausted, not from doing work, but from the mental effort of managing undone work.
Okay, that was the bad news. We've diagnosed the problem, we know the leak is WIP drag. Now for the good part, installing the fix. Let's get into the 3-phase protocol and build you a high-flow system.
And the protocol itself is beautifully simple, just 3 phases. First, a WIP Limit Audit to see just how clogged your system really is. Second, Bottleneck Synchronization to protect your most important work. And third, the final piece, engaging the completion lock so things actually get finished.
All right, phase 1. This is where we get brutally honest. The WIP Limit Audit. I want you to think right now about how many projects are in progress for you. Not just on a to-do list, but actively started. Waiting on an email for 1, Draft started on another? Mid-research for a third? The rule is dead simple. If you have more than 3 active tasks, your system is officially congested, and it's leaking energy.
3. That's the magic number. It is the absolute maximum number of active projects your brain can handle effectively without getting crushed by WIP drag. And it's not arbitrary. It lines up perfectly with what we know about the limits of human working memory. We can only really hold about 3, maybe 4 complex ideas in our head at once. Any more than that, and you're not multitasking, you're just failing at multiple things at once. This isn't a friendly suggestion, it's a cognitive speed limit.
So phase 2 is all about your bottleneck. In any process, there is always one step that takes the longest. If you're a writer, it's probably the messy first draft. For a coder, it's debugging. Whatever your slowest, most difficult step is, your job is to identify it and then protect it at all costs by building a buffer of dedicated, uninterrupted time around it.
And finally, phase 3. This is the lock. This is what makes the whole system actually work. The binary completion lock. The rule is absolute. You are forbidden from starting anything new until one of your current tasks is 100% complete. Not 99% done, not just waiting on one last thing. 100% done. Shipped. Finished.
Okay, now that we have the how, let's look at the why. Why is this system so darn effective? It's not just about a few clever rules. It's about rewiring your workflow to align with how your brain is actually built to perform. Let's look under the hood. There are 3 huge neurological reasons this protocol works so well. 1, by limiting your work in progress, you basically eliminate that costly task-switching penalty. 2, and this one is my favorite, you hijack your brain's reward system for good. And 3, you just dramatically reduce your overall cognitive load, which frees up so much bandwidth for real deep work.
This slide gets to the heart of it. It's the dopamine difference. See, starting a new task gives you a tiny little hit of dopamine. It feels good for a second, which is why we're all addicted to starting new things. But finishing a task, that releases a huge, reinforcing flood of dopamine. This creates something psychologists call a mastery experience. It doesn't just feel good, it literally trains your brain to crave completion, which builds real, sustainable motivation.
You know, the ultimate goal here is to get you into a state of what's called cognitive ease. This is that flow state people talk about, where the work just feels effortless. It's a state of super low mental friction that only happens when your brain isn't wasting all its energy trying to manage the background noise of a dozen open loops. It can finally focus all of its power on the one thing right in front of you. All right, we've covered the theory, the diagnosis, the science. Now it is time to make this real. Let's install your new operating system with 3 simple, non-negotiable policies you can start using literally today. This is your new user manual. Just 3 rules to run your day. 1. Enforce the rule of 3. 2. Protect your bottleneck buffer. And 3. Live by the 1 in, 1 out policy. That's it. Simple, right? But the impact is absolutely massive.
So, the rule of 3. Look at your massive to-do list. I want you to pick 3 and only 3 tasks to be your active work in progress. Everything else, it gets moved to a separate list. Let's call it the parking lot. And here's the key. For all intents and purposes, the things in that parking lot do not exist. You are not allowed to think about them, work on them, or worry about them. The psychological relief this gives you is incredible. Next up, protecting your bottleneck. And the prescription here is very specific, 90 minutes. Every single day, you block out a sacred 90-minute do not disturb session to work only on your bottleneck task. This syncs up perfectly with our natural brain cycles. No email, no phone, no distractions. This guarantees that the slowest part of your process is always moving forward, which means your entire system keeps moving.
And this is the final, unbreakable law of the system, the 1 in, 1 out policy. It's so simple. You want to pull a shiny new task from your parking lot into your active work? Great. You first have to earn that right by moving one of your current 3 tasks to 100% completion. This one rule prevents all the chaos from creeping back in and guarantees a steady flow of finished work.
So as we wrap this all up, the ultimate lesson of Throughput Psychology is a massive paradigm shift. Your value, your productivity, your success, it's not measured by the chaotic list of things you've started, it's measured by the simple tally of things you have finished. It's time to stop celebrating being busy and start engineering completion. Look, productivity isn't about brute force or working more hours or just having more willpower. It's about becoming a better systems engineer for your own mind. It's about mastering systems just like this one that don't ask you for more effort, but instead make deep, productive focus the easy default state. So the challenge is simple. What one task will you move to 100% completion first?